Hello guys, what is up? Welcome back to a brand new video, and today we are going to be looking at Joe Biden's approval rating as President of the United States. Let's hop right into it, and right now Joe Biden has a he has a positive, or just net 14% approval, I guess, so meaning that 14% more Americans approve him than disapprove, if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. It's not a pretty simple concept, but it's stayed pretty stable. He's remained a decently popular president for most of his term, although he's only been in office for around 2 months. It's actually his 2-month anniversary. Interesting. I just realized that. Well, actually, by the time that I post this, it'll probably be a month or 2 months in a day. But yeah. So Joe Biden, pretty popular president so far, but is that sustainable? Is the question we'll be answering. So first of all, right now it's the 20th or the 19th is the latest day they have data from. Now let's take a look at where Trump was on his 19th day, or on March 19th, 2017, and the equivalent here. He was not too popular. March 19th, 2017. Oh, jeez, I just moved my mouse. Whatever. Okay, I'm just gonna have to try to make this work. So on March 19th, he had a 52% disapproval rating and a 42% approval rating. So he was not too popular even in his early days. And, people say, oh, Biden's not too popular for a president who is, only 2 months in. That's absolutely correct. Joe Biden is not very popular based on the circumstances. However, he is more popular than Donald Trump, significantly more popular than Trump. And, people are going to compare him to Obama. Let's look at Obama. He is not too popular compared to Obama. Now, on day 50, 60 or something like that. It's day 60 of Biden. Obama had a 60%, 59% approval. Biden has a 53.4% approval, or 54%. So Biden is 5 points less popular than Obama. So that's not good. But I don't think you can compare this because it's more like comparing apples to oranges. Because 2009, the country was a lot less polarized. So there were some Republicans starting to think, okay, but Obama hasn't done anything that I disagree with yet. Therefore, I guess I approve of him. Today, I don't think that many people are saying that. There are probably a few moderate Republicans who are saying that, but there are probably the majority of Republicans who voted for Trump are just saying, I hate everything Biden's done so far. I do not approve of him at all. And the same thing happened with Trump in 2017. He was elected after a very controversial election that a lot of people really were not happy with the result. The plurality of Americans did not want him as their president. And as a result, he was only popular for like a week, if that. And he has, I think we have to compare Biden's approval more to Trump. And that's not a great thing for Biden. Obviously, Trump went on to lose re-election 4 years later. But he's still served in a much more recent time compared to Obama. So I think Biden is doing pretty well. Not great, pretty well. He's doing what he should be doing right now. So, yeah. Now, again, this is 538 polling, in that it's 538 does overestimate Democrats a little bit, so maybe Biden's approval is like 52 to 42 or something like that. Yeah, I just thought I'd bring that up real quick. Now, we have a nice civics map over here. We can compare the approval rating of Biden to the approval rate, or just mess around with these demographics. We can do, we can have a lot of fun with this. But just to say, really quickly, these are registered voters, which means it's pretty accurate data. But the data is coming all the way from November 2017, so it's like 3.5 years of data compiled. And they do have 174,000 responses, which is impressive. But you're still taking data that's like being weighted from 2017 to 2018, which is not ideal. But, take this map with a grain of salt, and we're just going to mess around with it. So right now, Biden is popular in a few swing states like Pennsylvania, New Hampshire, Minnesota, if you count those. But mostly Pennsylvania is his bright spot. But he's not too popular, according to this survey, in Nevada, Arizona, Texas, Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, Michigan, Wisconsin. And for whatever reason, Maine does not like him for some reason. But, yeah. So, these voters do not approve of Joe Biden overall. Actually, wait, no, they do. He has a net favorable rating of 1% since November 18, 2017. But that's not what he should be doing, because according to 538, in his presidency, he has a 14% approval rating. And as you can see, the trend line, he was not very well liked he was at his worst kind of in, interesting, he was at his worst in February 2020, where he had a 59% disapproval rating and a 32% approval rating. And, he got back up as he got the nomination, and, even in October 2020, he still was not that popular. And, Then he comes back and as president, he has a net positive approval. It's pretty close. It's not great, but it's still a net positive approval, which is better than he had for most of his time. So just let I bring that up. Now, taking a look at the map, we can look at, young voters approve of Biden because young voters are overwhelmingly Democratic. I just find it weird that South Carolina is blue and Georgia's red, but whatever. This map, as you can tell, not ideal. But now, middle-aged voters kind of are young, not really young adults, but young adults over here, actually, more like middle-aged adults, are kind of mixed here. I find it funny that Arizona's blue and New Mexico's red. 50, 64-year-olds, they do not approve of Biden overall. It's kind of not good for him, and boomers, I'm assuming, he's even more unpopular with, because older voters skew Republican for the most part. Yeah, so actually, that's funny that, okay, well, yeah. So older voters do not approve of Biden, as expected. Trend line for older voters, they probably do not, they don't approve of him. That's what I thought. Now, we can filter this like super specifics. We can say older voters who are college graduates or postgraduates, they probably approve of Biden overall, is my guess. They do. Overall, trend line, here we go. They have a net 12% positive approval, even older voters. Now, females are more Democratic. Very blue map. And I'm assuming Democrats are just going to approve him. Yeah, definitely. Now, we can try to find some interesting demographics. Now, I'm assuming that, what if we take a look at black voters, who are the most reliably Democratic bloc? Now, let's take a look at male 65-plus black voters who are non-college graduates. Let's filter in black or African-American. Let's see. So, interestingly enough, older black voters in Wyoming, which, again, does not exist, but South Dakota, cool. Older black voters in a few of these states do not approve of Biden. That's interesting. So, okay, now we can mess around with, maybe white voters who do not, who approve of Biden. Now let's try to find, let's find postgraduate, white voters, or we don't have to do a gender here, actually. Let's find postgraduate white voters and see what they think. So, as you can see, young postgraduate white voters still approve of Biden. He's still pretty popular with them. He's not popular in some of these more Republican areas like Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, but he's still pretty popular with them overall. And we can take a look at, I guess overall African Americans in the country as a whole, and we can take a look at females and males. Let's just get rid of, just race black African American. He's still pretty popular with African Americans. They helped him get that win in the 2020 election. Democrats getting control of the Senate, but with Hispanics, as you can see, not as good for Biden. He's still popular with Hispanics overall, but not too much in these southern. I find it weird that Georgia's like so red, and he won Georgia, which is really weird, but whatever. Now, as you can see, with Democrats, he's probably going to be pretty popular there. Democrats, pretty popular with Democrats. Now, with Republicans, he's probably very unpopular. He's not approved in a single state with Republicans, but with independents, I'm assuming he's popular. He won the independent vote, the independent share of the electorate in 2020, so I think he's going to be pretty popular with them. Oh, actually, they disapprove of him. Interesting. Okay, that's random. Wow. Interesting. Now, let's take a look at white voters nationwide. White voters, as you can see, kind of in the Northeast, which is predominantly white, is like the only predominantly white part of the country that votes Democratic usually. And then we have the coast, the West Coast. Now, we can look at individual states like Arizona is this one state that comes to mind. Biden was not popular in Arizona at one point, and then he kind of comes back, and he's still unfavorable net, but just thought I'd take a look at that. So, yeah, just cool map to play around with. If you want the link to this map to mess around with these demographics, like try to find like those random demographics like 50 to 64-year-old, non-college graduate, female, independent, who are Hispanic, from Alabama. That demographic does not like Biden. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.